We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I would like to welcome all of you to the new series of Vedic learning. We have just completed last week 68 sessions of the Bhagavad Gita. It started in July 2020. And before that, we had taken Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Drigdrishya Viveka. So many of you have continued this learning process right from April 2020. And these sessions started during the during the COVID time. It's still continuing, and I plan to take a new series of talks on the Upanishads for those students who have finished the previous sessions on the Bhagavad Gita. This is the general process of teaching the Prasthana Trayam. Today, I plan to give you an introduction to the Upanishads and give you a general idea of what our program is going to be for the next 2 years. Veda Vidanti Chaturaha Purushartham Tat Prapti Upainau Cha Yena Iti Veda. What is Veda? This is a definition of Veda. Veda means that scripture by which a person can know all the goals, Purushartha, the means of attaining them is called as Veda. In Tattva Bodha, when I gave the introduction, I said Purushartha means Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Ved means the root with, to know. And this is a knowledge which is a Paurusheyam. A Paurusheyam means it is coming from a supreme being which is not given out by a human being. Because if you see the content of Vedas, there are a lot of topics in the Veda which are beyond the scope of perception. What is beyond the scope of perception cannot be a source from a human being. Topics like life, death, topics like the soul, traveling, punya papam, rebirth, all these are something which a human being cannot know. So for the knowledge of these areas, we approach the Shruti. A Shruti is something which is heard by a Rishi, a pure mind, a sattvic mind. And the Rishis have in the past heard this, and they have documented this. They have taught this as a sampradaya to their followers. So this teaching is coming to us from one guru to a sishya. From a sishya, he becomes a guru. He gives it out to a sishya. So this Veda means something which is heard, and it is something which is very old, timeless. So the four Purusharthas, dharma means the right way of living. Artha means wealth. We all need wealth to live, survive in this world. So one of the goal is to have a right living, dharma. Second is dealing with earning a living. The third is kama. We all are human beings. The human body is designed to have pleasure in this world. And the last one is moksha. Moksha means detachment from this body and mind complex. Freedom. So a person who has gone through the three goals, dharma, artha, kama, he finds that there is something missing in his life. And he starts inquiring into who am I? That is the starting point of a spiritual seeker, like all of us. Many of us think that moksha means freedom, and in many philosophies, freedom is normally taught as something which you attain after the death of the body. So first you have to die and then you will get freedom. You will get moksha. That is a common belief. This misconception must be removed when we are learning Vedanta. What Vedanta says is, like you have dharma, artha, and kama, which are the purusha arthas, the goals of a human being, which you can attain here while living. The goal of moksha is also while living. Very important point to note. It is not a posthumous reward. While living, you can be free from an intellectual notion that this body is me, this mind is me. We have seen this in the Bhagavad Gita, right from Tattvabodha to Atma Bodha. The goal of the Upanishads is to remove this intellectual conviction which we have through the study of the Veda. Very important point to understand when we start a journey like this, because this will take 2 years to complete. So when the goal is reached, you yourself will say, yes, I am free. Earlier, I was thinking that this body is me, this mind is me, and I was in bondage. Bondage means I look at a limitation to myself. And how to remove this limitation? There is only one way. How to remove sorrow from life? How to attain eternal peace, eternal happiness? The Upanishads challenge and says, there is only one way you can get this, and that is through the study of Upanishads. The study of Upanishads gives us the benefit of freedom while living, which is called as Jivan Mukta. Having attained this freedom, we can then say, yes, my life is fulfilled. There is nothing in the world which having attained which we can say, yes, I am fulfilled, I am happy today, there is nothing more to do except this knowledge. The moment I am clear about who I am, what is my nature, I am the pure being, the moment it comes to us, our own mind will tell us, I have got the benefit of the study of the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. We ourselves are the proof, because this is Sakshi Pramanam, Sakshi Siddham. It is not Indriya Siddham. Indriya Siddham means it is not something which I know through my sense organs. This is something which I know through the light or the illumination of the Atma. Vedas have got two portions. The one portion is called as Veda Purva, and the second portion is called Veda Anta. Many people are confused as to what is this Veda. I see some rituals being performed, but I don't understand what is this Vedanta. Veda Purva deals with Karma Kanda, which deals with Dharma, Artha, and Kama, Purusharthas, the goals of the human life. If I want to have a better body, a next body, I want to have a better quality of body, then I do certain rituals so that I can get a better body. If I want money or wealth, I do certain rituals, and the Veda promises you will get wealthy. I want a child. I want a big house. All this is possible through the rituals mentioned in the Veda. I want pleasures in this world. Pleasures in this world and pleasures in the 14 lokas which the Vedas describe. Higher and higher pleasures I want. Veda says, yes, it's possible. Do this yoga, do this yajna. And the karmas which we do, when we say karma kanda, means it is a section dealing with rituals. And there are three types of actions which we call as karma. The first action is called as kahika karma. That which we do to fulfill our desires, like putra, pashu, vitta, means I want to have a progeny, I want to have wealth. That is called as rituals to fulfill the desires with the identification of the body as me. Then there is vachika karma, which is called as parayanam or japa. Suppose I keep chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, or I chant Gayatri Mantra 108 times. That is called as Vachikam, which means you use your verbal instrument, which is the mouth, to chant. We can chant Vishnu Sahasranamam, we can chant, so many slokas are there in our scriptures. The third is called as Manasa Karma, where the mind is dominant. It's not the body, it is not the speech or the vak, but it is the mind, manas. Through the mind, what can we do? We can do upasana. Upasana means meditation on the saguna nature of Ishvara. There is a form of the Lord. I meditate on that form, and that is called as upasana. But this is more difficult than the kahika and vachika. This is all to do with Veda Purva. The bulk of the Veda, almost like 3/4 of the Veda is this Veda Purva Bhaga. The second section is called as Veda Anta. it is called as Jnana Kanda, section dealing with knowledge. The first portion deals with three goals of human life: Dharma, Artha, Kama. The last portion deals with moksha. And this moksha deals with Paramatma Swarupam. What is the nature of the creator of this whole universe? How do I see that creator in myself? In what way can I see? That is the topic matter of all the Upanishads. So now you are very clear what is Veda, what is Veda Purva, what is Veda Anta, what are the four Purusharthas, the goals of life. For what Purushartha, which portion of the Veda I should use, you're also clear on that. And we are also now seeing what is the Purushartha dealing with the Veda Anta. Veda Anta is also called as Upanishad. The Karma Kanda portion deals with Ihaloka Phalam and Paraloka Phalam. Phalam means benefit. Iha means this loka where we are living, the Bhuloka. And Paraloka means the other 13 lokas, the other higher lokas, there are 7 higher lokas. What are the things which I can get in the other higher lokas? Those are all the topic of the Karma Kanda portion. It gives me a better upadhi. Upadhi means instrument of enjoyment, the body and the mind. In 14 lokas and with better objects of enjoyment, Vishaya. So the Karma Kanda gives us all the three. That means it gives us knowledge of the 14 lokas. It gives us the knowledge of the Vishayas. It gives us what type of body I need to enjoy those objects. The word Upanishad, very beautiful definition of this. Upanishad is the process of gaining self-knowledge, which is called as Atma Jnanam. The self is called as Atma in Sanskrit. It is not the knowledge about the body or mind. It is the knowledge of what lies behind the body and mind. What is the substratum on which the body and mind is resting? As you learn the Upanishads, you will start slowly getting an idea of this term called as Upanishad. Upa means to go near, approaching a teacher. For what? For self-knowledge. If you go to a teacher for physics that you go in college or university, those are all dealing with the objective sciences, whether it is IT, whether it is business, whether it is astronomy, cosmology, medicine, that is all dealing with objective sciences. The topic of Upanishad is not the objective science, but it is a subjective science. It is to understand the subject in this body. Who is this indweller in this body? It is the Dehi. Like in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, the Lord Krishna describes in verses 11 to 30, chapter 2 of the Gita, the subject matter there is the Dehi, the indweller in this body, the pure being. So you approach a teacher, how do you approach? With faith in the scriptures, faith in the Guru, and with a devotion, with love for the teaching. That is the meaning of Upa, to go near. Ni, Ni means to have a firm determination to know the truth. Come what may. I want to learn this knowledge. I want to gain this knowledge. There may be difficulties because I have got so many issues going on in the world today. But I will take that 1 hour every Saturday and come and learn the Upanishads. Let it take whatever time it wants to. Let it purify my mind. One day I'm sure I will learn it because that is the promise of the Upanishads. It is the promise of Veda to teach you who you are, who we are all. What I take myself today is not the truth. Perception is not proof of reality. Very important statement in teaching. Perception is not a proof of reality. I see the earth is flat, but earth is not flat. So perception is wrong. I see the sun rising, but we know science tells us sun never rises. It is the earth which is moving. I see a rope snake on the rope. I see mirage water in the desert. I see a shell. On a shell, I see silver on a beach. There are so many examples we have where we see, where we experience, and where we can easily say, whatever I perceive is not the truth. In fact, they say perception is the false knowledge of the world. And the truth is which the sense organs cannot know. It can be only known through the scriptures. You have faith in the scriptures and you have the determination, you will have that knowledge, and a doubtless knowledge, not something which is vague. Because this doubtless knowledge gives us the freedom. It's possible. There are many, many people in the world who have got this knowledge, who have become free. They are still living. And we take that as an example and learn from the Upanishads. Shad means to destroy ignorance, the self-ignorance, the notion. All this, what happens is, this is a cognitive change, a transformation in this mind equipment, which happens when we go through the process of learning. Just expose yourself to this learning with a completely open mind. Completely open mind. Do not bring your own notions into analysis, because those are all only viparita bhavana, only my own projections. The truth is defined by the scriptures very beautifully, in very simple terms. If I understand those simple terms, I will also be very clear. Samyak jnanam. Samyak jnanam means clear knowledge. So a book that contains this self-knowledge is also called as Upanishad. So if somebody asks you, what is this Upanishad? You should be very clear. Upanishad is a text which tells me who I am. Am I the body? No. Body is born and body is gone. Am I the mind? The mind is turbulent in the morning, it becomes restful, peaceful in the evening, again it becomes turbulent. How can I be this mind? So if I'm not this body and I'm not this mind, what is this body? What am I experiencing in the world? Joy and sorrow. One day joy, another day sorrow, morning joy, evening sorrow. What is this life all about? If this question comes into your mind, then you are in the right place. You have come to study the Upanishad, which tells me I am a pure being, a pure consciousness. That is my real nature. And by the study of these 12 Upanishads, the goal is for your own intellect to say, yes, the Upanishad reveals the truth about myself. Let the 12 Upanishads come and blossom that freedom in each mind. That is the approach you should take when studying these Upanishads. Mundaka Upanishad is a very, now I'm going to go a little bit deeper into how or why we study these Upanishads. Mundaka Upanishad in the beginning talks about a person who has seen the world. A person of say 30, 40 years, he has seen all what the world can deliver. Pariksha lokan, karmichitan, brahmano nirvedam maya. So what the Upanishad says is, you study your experiences, examine it, both what you have done socially in the world and also through the rituals which you have performed. You will say there are 3 defects. In all actions, there are 3 main defects. We learn from our experiences what those defects are, and the defects in Sanskrit are called as dukkha mishritatvam. The second is called as atripti karatvam. And the third is called as bandhakatva. Dukkha mishritatva means any action I do, it is mixed with sorrow. Any action. At the end of an action, you will find that what I wanted and what I really want in life is very different. Atripti karatva means it gives me no fulfillment. Any action I do hundreds of actions. I've got so much money, I've got so much, but it is still not fulfilled my desire. I've got one big house, I want another house. I have got 2 children, I want the third one. I want, the desires are never fulfilled. Bandhakatva means actions, when they are repeated, they put me in a bondage of a pattern of thoughts. My mind keeps going in the same way throughout the life. I feel bound to this body because I keep doing the same actions. The worldly accomplishments give us sukham, but it's mixed with sorrow. Therefore, it is no unalloyed joy. I get stress while acquiring, stress while maintaining, stress while they are lost. Bhagavad Gita says very beautifully, Antavantu phalam tesham tad bhavavats medasam devan deva yajo yanti mat bhakta yanti mamapi. Very important point in the Bhagavad Gita. It says that the karma phalam is always finite. There is a starting point of an action. There is an ending point for an action. Therefore, the result of karma will always be finite. It will give you sukham, but it will be finite sukham. For example, I do a ritual today, it will give me happiness, but it will be finite. It will last for a few days and then it will go away. That is the nature of this world. Nothing is permanent, nothing is sashvatam. I want eternal happiness. That is what is my real goal. I don't want any sorrow in life. I want permanent happiness. Atripti karatva means all accomplishments with finite efforts can produce only finite results. Any yajna which we perform, it gives us result which is finite. And the people who do these yajnas, they are subject to old age and death. Because again and again they are reborn. That's what it says in Mundaka Upanishad. There is always one higher thing. Suppose I do something today, there is always something higher to do. So there is dissatisfaction, discontentment in human life. And there is no limit for the human greed. So the second defect of actions, whether it is worldly actions or religious actions, they are all giving me results which is not complete fulfillment in life. Bandhakatvam, as I said, I become bound to the actions. I want more joy. Therefore, I keep repeating the same action again and again. I take the first ice cream. I want the second ice cream tomorrow. I want the third ice cream the day after. So it keeps me every day, my mind starts demanding. So instead of me, I am first the desirer. Later on, the object dictates me to perform actions. First, I start the action with a small desire. But later on, I become bound to the objects. Mundaka Upanishad says very clearly, examine, go ahead and examine. You don't, the Upanishad is not giving you these three defects. You examine it in your own life, and then you come to realize that we are traveling from one dependence to more dependence and not to independence. Very important point. Throughout our life, we are traveling from depending on one object, one human being, to many objects, many human beings, but never trying to tell ourselves, I am independent. But inside our heart, we want independence. We all want this. The problem is the number of things which we require becomes more and more in life. I want a mobile, but I want an Apple phone. I want an Apple, but I want more capacity so that I can have more data. So it keeps on growing. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidatti siddhaye atathamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Bhagavad Gita. Throughout the Upanishads, we will be using the Bhagavad Gita mantras to support what we are learning in the Upanishads. Here it says in the 7th chapter, which talks about para and apara vidya, Lord Krishna says, there is 1 in 1,000 who strives for perfection of the human mind. So all of us are that minority in this universe who want to learn something and achieve something which many do not even realize that it exists. And why is this so? Kathopanishad says this beautiful mantra, Paranchikani Vivritranat Swayambhu. So this mantra says that the creator of this body, Brahmaji, he created the sense organs with outgoing tendencies. My eyes are always looking to see something outside. My ears are want to listen good music. My tongue wants to taste new food. My skin wants to touch nice flowers. So the five sense organs are turning out all the time. But what the truth is, only when you go internally to yourself, immortality can happen. Immortality means eternality. So, because of this problem, a human being has to put effort to pull back the senses, pull back his mind's tendencies to learn who the real hero in this body is. Who is this indweller? Who is this who is always talking to me? Who is the one who is prompting me to do actions? Every day I get up in the morning, every day I keep doing actions. There is a prompter inside. Is that prompter the real truth? That ahamkara, is it the truth? Or is there a light which is called as sakshi, which is illumining this ahankara, which is making this jiva do things in life? Can I see that light, which is the real nature of all of us? Very few understand that karma phalams are defective and they are with three doshas. These are all very important points for us to note right in the beginning of why we are studying the Upanishads. Why we want to learn, why we want to use the organs of knowledge for getting higher knowledge, because there is no defect-free goal in Karma Kanda. In the Veda Purva, in the earlier portion of the Veda Purva, which deals with the three Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, and Kama, there is no fulfillment in life. Whereas the Veda Anta, the end portion of the Veda, deals with the defect-free goal, which is pure happiness. It is my own happiness, which is the intrinsic happiness of my own self, which is called as Atma Sukham. It is not mixed with sorrow because it is not born, it doesn't die. It is always there. All the enjoyments we have in the world, they last till my mind vrittis are there in the mode of Priya, Moda, and Pramoda. There are three modes in which the mind enjoys happiness in the world. We'll deal that in the Taittiriya Upanishad when it comes. But just for us to learn a little bit, the enjoyment of the world is born with the sense organs interacting with the sense world, sense objects. The 14th mantra of the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya. I don't have it here in the slide. I'm just telling you. Shitoshna Sukhada Tam Tidikshasva Bharata. Forbear the sense objects, dealing with the sense objects, dealing with the sense organs in the outer world. Have titiksha. Titiksha means they will go. That is the nature of the sense organs. They will go outside in the world and they will seek for joy. But that joy, remember, it is finite. Whereas the joy of Atma, if I'm able to discriminate between the joy of the objects and the joy born, which is unborn, the joy which is unborn of the Atma, thus, which is always there. Only I have to turn the attention through the study of the Upanishad. Yasvat Maratis reva syat atmatrittascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. So the man who is rejoicing in this Atma is satisfied with the self, content with his self, content with his Atma, because there is nothing more to be done. The moment we see I am the nature of this pure happiness, bliss, what happens is I am triptaha. I am full and I am complete. I am independent. I am free. Do we all want this moksha? Do we want this freedom? Every one of us will say, yes, 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 yes. Tell me, how do I get this? This is what I'm seeking in life. How come I didn't know this? I was always going out into the world, but then I didn't know that this is only finite, finite, finite. It lasts for a few days, few months, few years. Again, I become sorrowful. Again, I'm lost. Again, I have some little bit of joy. Again, I'm sorrow. So if you analyze the life, what happens is my life is 70% sorrow, 30% joy in the outer world. I'm just giving you a percentage out of an average person's lifetime, what he would love, what he would experience. Because the thoughts of what we have experienced as sorrow, that remains more prominent in our life. Again and again, mind goes back, why this sorrow in me? Why this sorrow in me? So am I this defect-free Atma, which the Upanishads are trying to teach me? Or am I this defective Jiva, Ahamkara? That is the topic of the study of Upanishads. Normally, there are 6 means of knowledge. We need to understand this so that we know what we can get. All of this, the most prominent of the source of knowledge for all of us is pratyaksham. The 5 sense organs, they are the basic instruments of knowledge right from our birth. So whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we taste, that is 99% of our knowledge. The rest of the 5 means of knowledge are all 1%. Upamanam means comparison. A means of knowledge, this is one of the means of knowledge. This is all mentioned in the Vedanta. This is how the study takes place. This is a very important subject matter when we are trying to analyze Atma. This is not required for worldly knowledge, but when we try to understand what is Atma and what is the source for that knowledge, this is important. Upamanam means comparison. I compare something with something else. I say that there is a forest buffalo or a bison which looks like a village bull. So when I see that animal in the forest, this is a typical example given in the Shastra. So by comparison, I come to know about a knowledge which I didn't know before. So this is a second pramana, a means of knowledge. Then the third pramanam, which is very important, is anumanam. Anumanam means I see smoke and I infer fire. Anumanam is also dependent on pratyaksham. Unless I have seen smoke before, I will not be able to infer. Upamanam is also dependent on pratyaksham. Unless I have seen the first animal, I will not be able to infer the second animal which I see. It is comparison. So we have seen 3 sources: pratyaksham, Upamanam, Anumanam. The fourth source of knowledge is called as Arthapatti. Suppose we see the roads are all wet when I get up in the morning. So I will presume that there has been rain in night. That presumption, the knowledge which we get from presumptions is called as Arthapatti. We derive this knowledge, but for this also pratyaksham is required. Unless the sense organs are there, he cannot use this as a means of knowledge. The fifth one is called as knowledge by absence, which is called as Anupalabdhi. This is just for you to know how and why we depend on the Upanishads. Anupalabdhi means it is knowledge by the absence of things. I don't have a pot in my hand. Because I don't see a chair behind the wall. So the knowledge of abhava, which is not, it is not seen through the sense organs, that also becomes a source of knowledge. Suppose you go to a hall and say, did Rama come into that hall? You see the Rama is not in the hall. Then we say, no, he is not there. That is also a means of knowledge. I see that he is not there. Absence of the person is also a means of knowledge. The last means of knowledge is called as verbal communication, which is called as Shabda. Now, Shabda is the most important thing when we are talking about Atma Jnanam. The knowledge which we get out of the words of the scriptures is called as Shabda Jnanam. Mahavakyas, or the sentences which are important sentences revealing the truth, those are what is called as Shabda Pramanam. So the sentences of the Upanishads is a very important means of knowledge for the subject in us. The I, the real I, if I want to know, I have to totally depend on the scripture. Suppose the scriptures tell me that you are the Atma, the pure being, which is aware of the sleep state, the Sakshi of the sleep state. If the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad tells me, Prashna Upanishad tells me, I have full faith in the scriptures and I accept that that is my real nature. So this is why Shabda becomes a very prominent means of knowledge when you come to the study of Veda, Vedanta. The Veda Purva deals with Anatma Lokas and the Karma Phalams. That means the 14 Lokas and the benefit or the fruits of going and enjoying or suffering in those Lokas. Vedanta Shabda is a Pramanam, it is a mirror. Every time Upanishad, throughout our study of Upanishads, you will find when you study the Upanishads, there are certain mantras. When it comes in the Upanishads, suddenly you will recollect, oh my God, this is Atma. How come I missed it? It is me, because it is really me. And I know because it is there. I am experiencing it, but I didn't know this. That is the subject, observer, the pure being, the consciousness principle. I learned through the study of this Upanishad how to discriminate, how to drop the Anatma portion from myself. From my real nature, I drop the body, I drop the mind. And I ask the question, who am I? Then you get the answer, you are the Sakshi, you are the witness consciousness. And that is the intrinsic Sarupam, intrinsic nature. What is this body which I see then? It is an extrinsic. It is not the real. It is an appearance. It will still be there after getting this jnanam. But in my intellect, that notion of bondage is gone. That moksha purushartha happens. And I can experience that while living, while studying this Upanishad, I can experience that. Because that notion of ignorance about Atma, that darkness which was surrounding the intellect for so many janmas, for so many lives. Many of the seekers, they approach me and tell me, I understand this, but I didn't know that this is Atma. I was experiencing it, but I never came to know that knowledge comes to us only because of the scriptures. That is the beauty of Upanishads. Even if you're able to understand one Upanishad, you will be fulfilled in life. So knowing this Atma is a unique knowledge. It cannot be taught by other sciences because they all deal with the objective sciences. They are dealing with the objects. Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra is the only source for Atma Jnana. In Jnana Kanda, we first know by Shravanam, by listening to the scriptures. I make my knowledge firm, dridam. I remove the doubts about the knowledge, about what is this body. I remove the doubts on the body. I remove the doubts on my mind. And then I see what is the remainder. And then what happens is the process of nididhyasanam starts. So Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Three processes are involved. Shravanam is for getting the knowledge. It removes the ignorance of Atma. Mananam is the knowledge I get by removing the doubts, samshaya. Then the last one is nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam is a process of contemplation, a process of meditation, where I sit deliberately and try to remove the thought, I am not the body, I am not this mind, I am Atma. I repeatedly tell myself, I have mistaken this for so many years. Now I am going to correct that mistake. This intellectual change, which happens when you yourself correct your mistake, is called as nididhyasana. And when we have done the three processes, the assimilated knowledge gives me the strength. It transforms me, it nourishes me. And that is called as freedom. That is called as moksha. And why is this Atma Jnanam a secret? Because it requires a pure mind to get this knowledge, to receive this knowledge. Today, my mind is clouded with a lot of impurities. What are the impurities? We have studied in the Bhagavad Gita. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya, greed, delusion, jealousy, anger, desire. All these are all emotions which are happening in my mind. Slowly, I get to learn to purify those emotions. The study of Bhagavad Gita itself purifies them. There are many people who have come and told me, I have gone through these sessions of yours for the whole 2 years. I have transformed myself. I don't know how, but it has changed my vision. This is the beauty of the scriptures. When you go through the process of learning, it is the words of the scriptures which remove the impurities from the mind. That is why this remains as a secret. And the second reason why this is a secret, because it's very difficult to find a Shrotriya Guru. This is all said in the Upanishads. In Mundaka Upanishad, this is what is said. Shrotriya Guru means one who is conversant with the Upanishads, the mantras of the Upanishad, and who has got the skill to teach. Sometimes you find a teacher who has learned the Upanishad, but he doesn't have the skill. Sometimes you find the person who has got the skill, but he has not gone through a formal process of learning, sampradaya. Because the teaching in the Upanishad is always in a samvada form, a dialogue form, like you see in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna and Lord Krishna. This is a dialogue which goes on for 18 chapters, 701 verses. Mundaka Upanishad, Shaunaka and Angiras. Angiras is the teacher. Pipalada and the 6th disciple. Pipalada is the teacher in Prashno Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has many sections where Yajnavalkya is the teacher, Janaka the king is a student. Keno Upanishad, there is a guru and there is a shishya. Katho Upanishad, Yamadharmaraja, the lord of death, he is teaching a 12-year-old boy, Nachiketa. So, this teaching is a samvada, a dialogue, because the student is learning. It is an intellectual study. A slow process, a gradual process of cleaning up the impurities in the mind, because they are in the form of vasanas, which have come for so many lives. By some luck, we have come to study these Upanishads. The 4 Vedas had 1,180 secondary branches, shakhas. Some say 1180, some say 1,000. Now I'm getting into the details of those, just to give you just to give you a broad vision today. Some say there are mainly, today what we find is, you find 118 Upanishads or 108 Upanishads, where you find there is a Sara available, there is an essence available. Shankaracharya, the greatest guru of Veda, Vedanta especially, now he has written commentaries on 10 Upanishads. And those have become very famous. All the seekers who are learning about this Atma Jnanam, they try to study at least 4 or 5 of them, because it takes a long time. Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam is the central theme in all the Upanishads. Whatever Upanishad you study, there will be some areas where they'll be talking about, but ultimately the theme is only one. And what is the theme? I will explain more of that when we study some mantras. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Brahma Satyam means there is one truth, which is this pure being, pure consciousness. And what is the world I see? It is Mithya. The definition of Mithya, what is this Mithya? We will study when we study the scriptures. Mithya means it is an appearance. It does not mean it is non-existent. The world is an appearance. It comes and goes in the 3 states of our consciousness, of our mind, which is the waking, dream, and sleep. But I am the substratum. I am the Sakshi, I am the witness of the three states of the mind. Therefore, I can say that the world is mithya, an appearance, but the observer, the Sakshi, the consciousness, that is Satyam. Satyam means it is the truth. In every Upanishad, you will find this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. Again and again, the Upanishads will hammer us and say, know that this is the truth of the world and it is the truth of this body. Atma is the truth of this body. Brahman is the truth of the entire Jagat. External world, when you say external, the truth is called as one word. It's called as Brahman. The same truth, when I look at it from my body perspective, it is called as Atman. This Atman and this Brahman is one. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. It is one pure being, the conscious being, which is the ultimate truth of the whole cosmos. All the Upanishads have got this as the central theme. Whenever we study Upanishads, I will be repeating this word, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Every time we study, remember this one sentence. It is this sentence which you will say at the end of 2 years and say, I accept this. Because I know through three methods. The Shruti statements I have studied. I have studied the reasoning, logic, and then I have experienced through my own anubhava. Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. Through these three things, I accept that the whole world is an appearance and I am the Satyam, I am the truth behind the entire universe. I am the pure being. I have learned this only from the Upanishads. It is not from something. The words of the Upanishads will convince me. Give it a try. The methodology which is employed by the Upanishad is called as Prakriya. Drishya Viveka, which we have done before. The videos are available in the class folder. Anybody who wants it, you can write to us. We will send you the whole classes. We have done almost like 104 sessions and almost 200 sessions are there in the video format. It is there. You can write to us. We'll send you all the 200 videos. You can see it in your own time. So Drishya Viveka is one method. A second method which is used is Sharira Traya Viveka. Drishya means the seer and the seen. How do I differentiate? The seer is this consciousness, Atma. The seen is the world. The seen is this body. The seen is my mind. But the seer of the mind is my real self. That is what is taught in Drishya Viveka. Very powerful. Just let the verses go through your mind. Your mind will get convinced. The second method here is Sharira Traya Viveka. These methods are given in Tattvabodha. I will give you the Atma definition later on. You will see that. Sharira Traya means my individual. When I say I am an individual, it means I am the gross body, subtle body, and the causal body. If you don't know these three bodies, go back to the 5 sessions of the Tattvabodha. Very clear. You will understand these three bodies very well. Panchakosha Viveka is 5 sheets, 5 dresses which the Atma wears to experience the world. Then the last one is another method which is called as Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana, which I will explain later on when we do the Mahavakya. Now these 10 Upanishads are from 4 Veda. This is just a simplified version. I will give you the details as we go by. 10 Upanishads where we find Shankaracharya's commentary. Rig Veda. In Rig Veda, we normally study the Aitareya Upanishad. In Yajur Veda, there are 4 Upanishads which we study: Katho, Taittiriya, Ishavasya, Brihadaranyaka. Samaveda, we study Chandogya Upanishad and Keno Upanishad. And Atharvana Veda, we study Mandukya, Mundak, and Prashno. So these 10 Upanishads on which Shankaracharya has written commentaries, we will study in a summary format, which itself will take 2 years. But if you're interested, that you can go and study verse by verse, because once you have done this course, you will be a master of Upanishads. You will be able to open up any mantra at any Upanishad and say, yes, I understand the meaning. I can go through the words, I can understand the meaning. It is talking about Atma. It is talking about Anatma. This basic knowledge is what I plan to give in these 2 years. The Upanishadic highlights are now basically given in the 2 mantras, which I have told you, which I have already described to you in the previous section. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. That is the mantra which comes in Brahma Jnana Valli Mala. For many years, I used to just hear this, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, but I never could understand where is this in the Upanishads. Then I came to know that it is in a text written by Shankaracharya. See, Shankaracharya is so great that he has composed so many aids for teaching Vedanta. This is one of that. I had taken this mantra for analysis. It's there, the videos are available for this. So here it says, Brahma is the truth, the world of objects and beings is false, and the egocentric sense, which is the Jiva, is nothing but this pure being, the Brahman. This is the central theme of all the Upanishads. You open up any Upanishad, this is the theme. And right in Tattvabodha itself, Atma Kaha, Stula Shukshma Karana Sharira Vyatiriktat Panchakosha Avastatraya Sakshi Sachidananda Rupa Swarupaha San Yatishtam Sa Atma. Right in Tattvabodha, the first text which we do, the kindergarten of Vedanta, there itself Shankaracharya has beautifully described this Atma which you want to study is nothing else but it is you without the gross, subtle and causal body, you without the 5 koshas, you without the 3 states of consciousness, waking, dream and sleep. That you, how can I describe that? That is Sat Chit Anand. So this is the basic definition which everyone should know. And anytime if somebody asks you, what do you learn in Upanishad? You must remember, you must be able to say this. The central definition, whenever this is a central definition of the Bhagavad Gita, it is a central definition of Brahma Sutra and also the Upanishads. This chart here tells you the different names of the Upanishads which we'll be studying, and also which Veda it belongs to, and then what is the prakarana, what is the method of teaching in each of these. As I said, it is Avastatraya, Drigdrishya, or Panchakosha Viveka. It's through this methodology, prakaranas, they teach us the ultimate truth about Atma. Amrit Bindu Upanishad is a very beautiful Upanishad of the Atharvana Veda, which is a minor Upanishad, and we will be studying that also a little bit. where it says mind is the cause of bondage, mind is the cause of freedom. So all my effort is to understand this mind is not me. I learn to drop this mind and say I am free. Normally, a spiritual student, when he goes to the teacher and says, I want spiritual knowledge, the teacher will say, you have to study 3 things. Number 1, Bhagavad Gita, which consists of 18 chapters, 701 verses. Number 2, so Bhagavad Gita is like graduation, 700 verses. Before that, the kindergarten and the school is all that Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha and all that. Then he says, do the master's degree, which is Upanishad. You study 12 Upanishads or 10 Upanishads or 5 Upanishads. If you want to study the 12, 1,800 verses. Then there is a third text, which is a PhD. That PhD is also equally important. It tells me how to connect that Jiva and Brahman, the ultimate analysis, how the Mahavakya has to be understood. So after I finish the Upanishads, I hope I can take some of the sutras of the Brahma Sutra, especially the first 4 sutras, I would like to take up for this group, because that makes the study complete. So 2 years, almost 2 years, we have studied now Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Bhagavad Gita, Drigdrishya Viveka, we have studied. Now we are going to study these Upanishads and then ultimately Brahma Sutra. Even after this, suppose you say, no, I still want to learn a little bit more. Then there are 2 other texts which I have not put here, which is what I am taking for the Wednesday class. It is called as Vichara Sagara and Panchadasi. Now, I am taking Panchadasi on Wednesdays. It's a very beautiful text. If you want, you can just get the audios or videos of that and see it whenever you can. This Panchadasi is a detailed version of some of the mantras from the Upanishads. Like each chapter takes one mantra and goes very deep. For example, Panchakosha Viveka, the Taittiriya Upanishad deals with that. The 5 dresses which I wear. Whereas when I study the Panchadasi, it will go deeper into that. So that is what we are studying on Wednesday sessions. Shankara Bhashyam commentary is not available for Kaivalya Upanishad and Svetashvaratara Upanishad. But I am taking that these are good Upanishads to learn, especially Kaivalya. I'm starting because it's a simple and a very, very beautiful Upanishad, which will start sometime either next session or the following session. Shankara Bhashyam is available for 10 Upanishad. You can go through the internet, you will find the Bhashyams, you will find the commentaries. You can enhance your studies by going through them, but basically you must go through these fundamentals. Words express 4 types of meanings: Vastu, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha. These are the basics. Why we learn this is any word can express a substance which is perishable, a guna, a property, an action, which is called as kriya. And ultimately, word can also express what is the relationship between me and the finite things in the world. For example, you say he's a driver, he's a cook. So it is a sambandha. And Mahavakya is the one which is expressing the oneness which is beyond words. We'll see how it comes. Now, the theme of the rishis is to make us discover the not a perishable vastu, not a one which is born and which is destroyed, but it is not even an attribute or a property of a particular product. It is not a relationship. It is not an action. All these four are used for anatma. Words can describe anatma. Atma can be only explained through the words of the scriptures by a unique method. And what is that method? Neti neti. It's a very powerful methodology. It is not this, not this, not this. It is not the gross body, not the subtle body, but it is the Atma. It is not the five koshas, it is the Atma. So the truth is indicated by following a special method which is called as not this, not this. And once we have done, then what is the world? Then world is a distortion produced by this consciousness when it goes through this body, mind, intellect prism. See, for example, when pure light goes through a prism, you get the 7 colors. There is a light in us, the Atma, the light of Atma. When it is going through the prism of the mind and the sense organs, I see the world. This prism is the prism is basically, it is the mind. When I remove the prism, what happens? The pure light alone is ekam eva advitiyam Brahma. In this infinite Atma, there is no finite world. That is the revelation of the Mahavakya. Mahavakya analysis is a fairly detailed one. I will enter into it perhaps next session. Today, I will just finish the other portions. Shanti Mantras are there in each of the 4 Vedas. Atharvana Veda has got Om Bhadram Karnevi Shrunuyama Devaha. This is the prayer which we chant at the beginning of each class for all the Upanishads belonging to Atharvana Veda. What is the meaning is given below. Krishna Yajurveda has got Om Sahana Bhavatu. This is what we chanted today. Yajurveda mantra, this is a prayer. And it helps us to quieten the mind. Shukla Yajurveda has got Purnamada, Purnamidam. This we chant normally at the end of the class. It's also a prayer. Then Samaveda has got Om Apyamantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshuhu. This mantra is for all the Upanishads, especially the Chandogya Upanishad and the Kena Upanishad. Rig Veda has got a prayer which is Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita. This is for the Aitareya Upanishad. So when we do the Aitareya, with these Upanishads, whenever we do, we'll have these 4 types of prayers at the beginning. I have taken some important mantras from different Upanishads and I have put them together to give you a small idea about them, just to give you a flavor of what these Upanishads are. I will take this in my next session next Saturday because this is important. I will take it. And we'll just go through these mantras. I'll just tell you a little bit about these mantras when we go through these mantras. And all these Upanishads I've taken just important one mantra, just to give you a flavor, what this mantra and how it tries to reveal this Atma. Then in this presentation I have got, so here you got Muktiko Upanishad. the last Upanishad, I've taken one of the Upanishads. This is the 14th Upanishad. The 13 Upanishad mantras are there before the section. Muktiko Upanishad is a teaching by Lord Rama to Hanumanji. And Hanumanji is asking Lord Rama, "Oh Lord Rama, how many Vedas are there? What are their branches? What are Upanishads?" To Hanumanji, Lord Rama says, there are 4 Vedas, but their branches are many. In Rig Veda, there are 21 branches. In Yajur Veda, there are 109 branches. In Sama Veda, there are 1000 branches. In Atharvana Veda, there are 50 branches. And in each branch, there is one Upanishad. And whoever with devotion to me studies, even if one of these Upanishads, he will not be born again. He will attain the state of absorption or moksha. Then Lord Rama says, if you can't study this 1000 Upanishads, study 10 of them and remove your ignorance. And then before that, he says study 32 Upanishads. Then he says you study, if you want really mukti, study 108 Upanishads. And then he says that you study one Upanishad. I've not put that here, and that is Mandukya Upanishad. He says study one Upanishad, you will be free. This is from Muktiko Upanishad. People who are interested, they can go through this Upanishad. Here in this slide, I have given you, this has been constructed by me. I have just given you broad details, just as academic, but you will understand this slide much better after we go through the 12 Upanishads. I want to just tell you which are the Upanishads which we'll be doing, how many mantras are there, how many chapters are there, how many sections are there, what is the prayer for each of these Upanishads, who is the Acharya, who is the teacher in each of these Upanishads, who is the student, what is the Mahavakyam, and what are the important mantras in these Upanishads. So Upanishads here have got 1,800 mantras, Brahma Sutras has got 550, Bhagavad Gita 701. The total mantras we study is 3,086. The last section, the third section of the presentation consists of the names of the 108 Upanishads. It's just academic purpose. If you are interested, it's just a collection, that's all. How many in Rig Veda? 10 Upanishads in Rig Veda. There are 51 in Yajur Veda. Sama Veda has got 16. Atharvana Veda has got 31. And then each of these Vedas are divided into certain categories. Some are called as Yoga Upanishad, some are called as Vaishnava Upanishad, some are called as Shiva Upanishad, Shakti Upanishad, Vedanta Upanishad. So these are all the different categories. This is just for academic purposes. If you want, you can this is just for you for knowledge. See, when we study this, at least you will know what we are studying. And these are the 12 Upanishads which we'll be covering. The 108 Upanishads these are the names which are mentioned there. And the categories which I explained to you just now, these are the different categories. Vedanta Upanishad, the principal Upanishads, Sannyasa Upanishads, Yoga Upanishads, Vaishnava Upanishad, Shakti Upanishad. These are the Upanishads. If somebody is interested to just to go through these Upanishads later on, some idea if you want, there is a book which is called as 112 Upanishads by this publication. I have just put it here, Parimal Publications, which I've just added today. It is not there in your presentation, which has been sent to you. If you are interested, you can write to us, or you just take a picture of this in your phone. Parimal Publications from Delhi has got the details of 112 Upanishads. So next week, we will start. I will go through these mantras which I have left out from this presentation of today, the important mantras, and then I will go through the Mahavakya analysis just to give you a glimpse of how this whole teaching takes place. And then we will start the Kaivalya Upanishad. So next week is going to be a glimpse of the 12 Upanishads and a glimpse of the Mahavakya. After that, if time permits, we'll start the Kaivalya Upanishads itself, or we will take it in the third section. In the third session, we'll start the Kaivalya Upanishad. And Kaivalya Upanishad, I'll be taking each of the verses. I'll be taking the whole Upanishad. It is a minor Upanishad. And I will take the entire Upanishad, and whatever time it takes, doesn't matter. It will give you a full idea of how Upanishad should be studied. And it's got 23 mantras and 2 mantras in the end. So about 25 mantras are there in this Upanishad. The chanting of these mantras, I'll be playing about 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the class. So if you want to learn to chant this, just come 15-20 minutes before and you can listen to the chanting. I will also see if I can send the circulation of the chanting. The videos of these sessions will be sent by email, and also it will be put in the WhatsApp group. After 3-4 days, you will get the videos for you to revise and keep it in your record if you want to. It will be sent to, there are some people who have requested to be sent by email. So it will be sent to those people by email, and to the others, it will be sent by WhatsApp if you have requested it. So that is the overall program. We'll just make a beginning and we'll see how it goes. In case anybody of you who is familiar with chanting of the Sanskrit verses and you have got some knowledge of the Sanskrit, please contact me. I would like to record some of these mantras for chanting and also for the classes. If you know somebody who would like to help us be a volunteer for this study group, please write to me or send us an email with a small recording of yours or of that person. And I would really sincerely look forward to this help if you can. You can spread the word across if you have friends who are interested to learn this Upanishad. And let us all pray for a spiritual awakening in us through this study of the 12 Upanishads. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. If you have any doubts or any questions on today's presentation, you can ask your questions. We will open up the session for Q&A. You can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. Just give me a minute. We'll just try to unmute you so that you can ask your questions, and any clarifications you have, you can put it in the chat box also. I will just run through the chat box if there's anything important there. Oh, there's so many messages, my God. This is amazing. Okay, what I would suggest is Anumanam and Arthapatti, don't worry, you will get to know this as we progress. But as we study the Upanishads, these 6 pramanams, we will be able to get clarity. I will be taking this methodology, Anumanam, just for your information. Anumanam means an inference. Inference means I see something and then I infer what is the truth. For example, I see fire, I see smoke on a mountain, and then I say, oh, there is smoke there. I can see the smoke, but I can't see the fire. So I infer fire because somewhere, sometime in the past, I have seen fire and smoke together. But now, at the present, I'm seeing only the smoke. So I infer fire. That is called as Anumanam, inference.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
No, wait 1 second. Yeah, I know that, of course, that I understand. But what's then the difference when I see a garden in the morning that is flooded and I infer rain in the night? What's the difference? That's my question.
Okay. Arthapatti, okay, that's also good. Arthapatti is like, okay, it's a good question. Arthapatti is also like an inference. It is also a type of inference. So you're right. It is a type of inference.
Okay.
The Arthapatti means I see, for example, the rain, like I see the smoke.
Yeah.
So it is another form of inference. It's a subset of inference only.
Okay.
Okay. So I infer rain by seeing the wetness in the water on the ground.
Yeah, but why are there then 2 categories?
It's a fine category. I will explain to you when we go through the sessions. I need to give you some examples for that.
Okay.
But for your information, they are very similar. It's a subset of. But one thing we should remember is Arthapatti, Anumanam, all this, they are all based on Pratyaksham. Unless I have seen and perceived, I will not be able to use that as a means of knowledge. So they are based on perception. Whereas Shabda Pramanam is the only one which is not based on Pratyaksham. Shabda means the scriptural words. The scriptural words tell me something which exists, but I can't perceive it. That is the beauty of the scripture. All other 5 pramanams, the sources of knowledge, they're all dependent on the sense organs. Without sense organs, it is not, they are not means of knowledge. Arthapatti, Anumanam, Upamanam, Pratyaksham, all these are all means of knowledge. They help me to understand the world. They are all useful to me to understand the objective world. But they are not useful to me when it comes to me, the subject. Then I want to know who is that pure being which is there, which my sense organs cannot see, the sense organs cannot know. They are not the means of knowledge for the Atma. Therefore, I have to depend on something which is the scriptures, the words of the Upanishads, they are the one, as you study the 12 Upanishads, in each Upanishad, there is a Mahavakya. There is one verse which will tell me, this is you, this is you, this is you. And all other verses will tell you, this is not you, this is not you, this is not you. Then my intellect goes through this 12 times. My own intellect will tell me on the 13th time, without the text, it will tell me, I am the pure consciousness, awareness. I have no doubt on this, and I am free. That is the beauty. Okay, then Raj, to everyone, I think the first case you spoke, okay, that's an explanation of that. Yes. Read somewhere that Panchadasi is an entry point to Vedanta. Please clarify. Okay. Panchadasi is a Prakarana text, but I can tell you that the text is so intense. So you're right. It is an entry point to Vedanta. You're absolutely right. You can come and join the classes, and you can see for yourself. It uses the Upanishadic mantras to reveal. So if you know the Upanishad, it will become much more easier, or you do it together with Upanishad. There are many people who are doing it. I can see the faces who are very familiar, who come for the Wednesday session and who also come for the Saturday session. So it is a very good combination. So you can, even if you can't attend these sessions because of time constraint, you can just get the video of the Wednesday session. You can write to us. We'll send you the videos of the previous classes. It is a beautiful text. All I can tell you is, I plan to take, I don't know how many, again, that is a 2-year program. I want to take Panchadasi as a text for learning. Even if you are able to do 3-4 chapters of that, it will be 2 years, because we are having sessions only once a week. And that whole text has got 1,500 verses. So I plan to take about 400-500 verses in 2 years' time. And if you learn these 4-5 chapters, you will be absolutely clear on all the technical aspects of Vedanta. It is the beauty. The beauty is everything, all the technical aspects. The way you unfold a mantra will be very clear to you. So that is explanation. Okay, then Bart is only asking that. Pratikshan before the eyes, okay. Please clarify how come we start with Kaivalya than Ishavasya. Okay. See, Kaivalya, you're right. The normal way they start is Isha, Kena, Katho. That is the normal way they start. But Isha is is almost a PhD in Vedanta, you know. So I would like to take that a little later. I want to take a simpler Upanishad, which is Kaivalya. I will take Keno Upanishad, Katho Upanishad. These are a little bit simpler because the main target audience for this sessions of 2 years is people who have come with me together after doing Tattvabodha, Atmabodha, Dhritikshishya Viveka, Bhagavad Gita. Now, for them, the best is to take some minor Upanishads initially and then graduate to the higher Upanishads. I will take Mandukya Upanishad after taking 4 or 5 Upanishads. So as we see how the response is, we will then slowly, we'll taper up, and Ishavasya is also Upanishad we'll be doing. But it is a complicated Upanishad. It is not a simple Upanishad. Therefore, I am taking it a little bit later. Okay. Okay, you have asked for some, please, can you just send me this mail by WhatsApp or email? Please send it to us so that I can reply to you by email, because it's easy for me to send the class videos by email. Okay, is there any other questions from the group or any other remarks you'd like to say about the session today? You're free to say. Yeah, go ahead, Bud.
Just wanted to understand from you that you have mentioned that the Upanishads are categorized into, I think, 5 or 6 categories, right?
Yeah, Shakti Upanishad and, yeah, these
Yoga
are all,
Upanishad, etc.
yes.
Can you give a brief about those categories?
You see, these are all categorization based on somebody who have gone through all these Upanishads and 181 Upanishads, and they have categorized it. Shakti Upanishad, Shiva Upanishad, Yoga Upanishad. These are all self-revealing. These are all simple words which you can understand. It is categorization means relating to, say, Shiva. So somebody has categorized all the Upanishads related to Shiva. Somebody has categorized all the Upanishads which are dealing with yoga. So you can see, if you study those Upanishads, in the website, I have got about 36 or something minor Upanishads. Some details are given in the Vedanta students website. But my suggestion to you at this stage is, don't go into the details of those Upanishads. Just understand these 12 Upanishads first. Then you go into the analysis of the other Upanishads and learn the other things later on. Because the moment you're strong with these group of 12 Upanishads, then you can open up any Upanishad and you'll be able to understand and categorize them. So is it clear, Bud?
Thank you, Hari Om.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Was it a very intense session for most of you, or was it okay to understand?
It was pretty good, pretty easy.
Okay, very good.
Pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much, and good night to everybody. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheikh. Good night.
Yeah, thank you.
दूसरा दिखा दूसरा दिखा
Do we get the recording of this? I missed the first 30 minutes class.